Hi everyone, welcome back for day 2 of our article on Taiwan's top snakes for English for You. I'm Kat.
I am Pat.
And we've already talked about day 1 of our article on snakes, where we're talking about how to be safe around them if you see them in the wild.
We talked about paying attention to your surroundings. Anytime you're out hiking, you should check where you're going to walk. If there's piles of wood or long grass in particular, those two places, use a walking stick or just pick up a bit of wood and make sure the wood isn't actually a snake and kind of poke around to make sure there's nothing waiting for you in there.
Yeah, so make sure that you are keeping an eye out for any snakes that are going to be on the path where you are hiking. And so if you see one, you can keep your distance. You can stamp your feet to make it want to run away, something like that.
Yeah, they can sense vibrations. So most will do it naturally, but if they're kind of staying in one place, you could maybe speed things up by stomping your feet a bit. If it doesn't move, then just stay clear. Don't kind of get really close and try and jump over it. Better to find a better way around.
Yeah, move around, not over, and not under either. So today we're going to learn about a few snakes that you can only see in Taiwan, or maybe not only in Taiwan, but they're very famous and you can see a lot of them in Taiwan, right?
Yeah, we got to hope that there's a few of these we really don't want to meet in the wild.
That's true.
Definitely ones you should avoid if you can. But we're going to talk to you about what they're like and what they what they look like, as well as how they behave, so you'll know what to look out for. Let's check out day 2.
Reading.
Taiwan's top snakes. Now that we know some do's and don'ts, here are some Taiwanese snakes to watch out for. Taiwan Habu. This snake can grow up to 150 centimeters long. It's light brown with darker areas. It's extremely venomous, so be careful. Taiwan Habu live in the mountains, but can also be found around farms. They're fearless and can be aggressive. Bamboo pit viper. This green snake is smaller and less venomous than the Taiwan Habu. However, bites from it are a lot more common. That's because it lives around plants that farmers often handle. Its red eyes and red tail warn people to keep clear. Greater green snake. This snake is often mistaken for the bamboo pit viper. However, this reptile is shinier, has a green tail, and most importantly, is harmless. Many-banded crate. Stay away from this black and white snake. It's active at night, so it's harder to spot. What's worse, people often don't feel its bite. People who are bitten but don't get treatment often die.
Okay, our article starts out today for day 2 saying, now that we know some do's and don'ts, here are some Taiwanese snakes to watch out for. So we have this phrase, now that. So now that we know means you just learned this. So now the thing is, you know it. And so since you know it, we're going to talk about the next step, or how we can respond to it, basically. So you could say, like you could hear your teacher say, now that we're all here, we can start class. It means everybody has just come in and now we can start class.
And we also saw the phrasal verb watch out for. And this is kind of like the keep an eye out for phrase that we used yesterday. To watch out for something means to be aware that there might be something either dangerous or unpleasant nearby, and that you should try to avoid it by looking for it. Or you can use it in a positive way, like, hey, if you're in an airplane, there's a famous, part of the country below you. So watch out for this particular feature. So it's saying that there's something you should try to notice more than normal. It's kind of highlighting something to pay attention to.
Yeah, so we're talking about 4 different snakes today. The first one is the Taiwan Habu. I think this one has a cute name.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we learned that this snake can grow up to 150 centimeters long. So yeah, if you think about that, that's almost as tall as I am. Not quite, but
It's a medium-sized snake.
Yeah, I'd say that. We use the phrase up to here. This shows the maximum amount that's generally recorded. So there will be quite a few smaller than 150. There might be an occasional one that's longer, but in general, 150 centimeters is as big as they get. It's unlikely that they will get much bigger. This is the highest amount. That's what we mean by up to.
Yeah, so what does a Taiwan Habu look like? The article says it's light brown with darker areas. So yeah, if you see a picture of it, you might see that it's kind of got these dark brown diamond shapes along its sides. That's how you can tell.
Okay, what else do we learn? It's extremely venomous, so be careful.
Okay, so this is not a snake you will keep as a pet, ever.
Definitely not. So before we look at the actual adjective, let's look at the adverb. Adverb here is extremely, which is not just like saying very, it's saying very, 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 very. It's used to really strengthen the adjective that follows it. If you're running super, super fast, like Usain Bolt, you're not just running fast, you're running extremely fast. If there's a massive earthquake, it's not just strong, it's extremely strong. Greater than the normal extent of what you'd think of. We're talking the most powerful, the fastest, the most dangerous kind of things. So we could say, after missing both breakfast and lunch today, Ivy was extremely hungry. Not just a little hungry, not just average hungry, super hungry.
Yeah, I would be too if I missed 2 meals. So what does venomous mean then? Venomous is an adjective that means something is able to inject poison into you, usually by biting you or by stinging you. So there is a difference between poison or poisonous and venomous. So poisonous things usually they will make you sick if you touch them or if you eat them, if you do something to them. But venomous things can put their poison in you without you having to do anything because they will do it. So they will bite or they will sting you, like bees. Bees are venomous and snakes are venomous. Jellyfish are venomous. But frogs, the really bright colored frogs, are poisonous because they don't bite. But if you touch them or eat them, you'll get sick. So yeah, that's the difference.
Okay, great definition. So what do we learn here? Taiwan Habu live in the mountains, but can also be found around farms. So presumably because there are either birds or rats or other things on those farms that the snakes can eat. So sure, no wonder they come around people sometimes to find their food.
Yeah, for sure. And what about their personality, their attitude? It says they're fearless and can be aggressive. So venomous plus fearless. Not a great combination because fearless means you have no fear. Anytime you have an adjective with less on the end, it means without. It means not having that thing. So if you're hopeless, you have no hope. You're penniless, you have not a penny to your name. You're completely broke. If you're harmless, that means you can't harm anything or won't harm anything. So yeah, that's fearless. They have no fear.
Yeah, they're not going to run away from a human. They're not going to be scared off by a noise or something like that. Not only that, they can be aggressive. If something is aggressive, it is likely to attack and deliberately try to hurt you. So this snake might just not, it's basically in an angry mood all the time.
Yeah.
And if anybody's around it, it won't go, I'll only bite you if I'm scared. It's going, I don't like the look of you. I'm going to bite you. I feel like biting you.
Maybe it'll chase you.
Yeah, like it's not going to wait carefully and leave you alone. If you leave it alone, it'll come for you and try and hurt you, especially if it's, you disturb it. It won't just run off. It'll say, huh, you woke me up. You're getting it now, sunshine.
Oh no. If a snake called me sunshine, I'd be scared.
Mm.
All right, so that's what we know about the Taiwan Habu. Stay away from them. If you see a light brown snake with dark brown side parts, stay away. So the next one is the bamboo pit viper. Now I know about pit vipers. They are very, very venomous. So I think this one must be too.
Yeah, well, what we do learn is that this green snake is smaller and less venomous than the Taiwan Habu. So it may be a meter, a bit longer in length. We know it's green. And yes, it is venomous, but its poison, the venom, the stuff it puts in you is not as bad as the Taiwan Habu's poison.
Okay.
So maybe you're less likely to die or less likely to get really sick if you get bitten.
Yeah. So you still should go to the hospital though.
Mm.
But it says, the article says, however, bites from it are a lot more common. Oh, interesting. So even though the habu is aggressive, you're more likely to get bitten by the bamboo pit viper. So here we have this comparative adjective. This is our grammar point for today, or more like a comparative adverb. So you see a lot more common, but usually you would see like bites from it are more common, right? Now we have this adverb a lot. So you can use an adverb like this to modify a comparative adjective. So if you want to say, she's taller than me, but not just she's taller than me, maybe you're here and she's here. She's a lot taller than me. So that's one way you can modify it. Or you could say far. So even if it's not something about distance, you can say far. You could say, this movie is far less boring than the other. In other words, it's much more interesting. And that's another one you can use. Much. She's much more interested in learning English than Spanish. Maybe she doesn't want to learn Spanish at all. She really wants to learn English. She's much more interested in that.
Okay, so why are bites from these bamboo pit vipers much more common? And we have the reason in the next sentence. That's because it lives around plants that farmers often handle.
Okay.
So it's basically to do where it's found. It's called a bamboo pit viper, so we know it probably lives around bamboo. It's maybe part of its normal place where it makes its homes, its nests, and other plants as well. And these are plants that farmers handle. And here, handle means to touch with your hands. It's going to be to pick it up, to move it around, to get involved with it a lot. It's a very physical kind of action verb here. So here's an example sentence. Some animals like to be touched, but others don't enjoy being handled.
I have two cats, both of whom they like to be touched and petted, but I think as far as handling them, like picking them up, they don't really like that.
Yeah, I recently rescued a tortoise from a pond. Someone had thrown it away.
Oh, wow.
And tortoises don't really like being handled, especially not when they're new. I think maybe if you had a pet for a long time, it would be okay. But in general, they don't like to be picked up and put on people and shifted and moved and stuff. It's not really their thing.
What will they do if you do that?
Not much. It's just a tortoise, but it just won't be happy. It'll maybe go into its shell or just
I see.
Stay in one place for a bit afterwards.
Okay. I see. Yeah, interesting. Because I've known tortoises who like to be petted, but maybe they were bigger. Yeah. So anyway, you should not handle a bamboo pit viper, right? You should not handle it. And another way that you can tell it is a pit viper, a bamboo pit viper. It's green color, and the article says its red eyes and red tail warn people to keep clear. So yeah, if something has bright colors in nature, it's generally something that means danger. So it's a way of warning people to keep clear. Warn is this verb that means to tell somebody to do or not do something if they are going to avoid being in danger or being in trouble. So if I warn you about cars, it means I'm telling you, look out for the cars, don't go in the road, the cars are very fast, they could hit you, something like that. So to warn somebody is to kind of tell them, like, I'm dangerous if it's a snake. I'm dangerous. Don't touch me. Don't come near me. Those red colors are a warning. That's the noun for warn. So an example sentence for warn could be, the parents warned their children not to get too close to the fire.
Okay, let's go to our next snake, which is the greater green snake.
Greater than what?
A lesser green snake, presumably.
I guess so. Yeah. Usually lesser and greater means one's small, one's big. Anyway, so this greater green snake, this snake is often mistaken for the bamboo pit viper. So they must look kind of the same. They're both green for sure, but it's mistaken for the bamboo pit viper. Mistake A for B means, or to be mistaken for something, it means to identify something wrongly. So if you see a greater green snake, you might say, a bamboo pit viper, because you're mistaking it for that other snake. Means they look pretty much the same and you got them mixed up. Yeah, so don't mistake it for one or the other. Yeah.
Right. There are differences, though. We see, however, this reptile is shinier, has a green tail. Remember, the other one was red. And most importantly, is harmless. That word that Kat used earlier. So reptile, we've kind of used it once or twice in this article. Here we have it as a word. It is a kind of animal that breathes air, lays eggs, has scales, and also has a backbone. So snakes, crocodiles, turtles, tortoises, other kinds of lizards, that kind of thing is a reptile.
I think of bihu. I see them all the time here, and they're a kind of reptile that's very common in Taiwan. Yeah, so this reptile in this case is shiny or shinier than the bamboo pit viper. So shiny is this adjective that means having a smooth, kind of bright appearance, so its skin reflects light. The opposite would be looking dull or looking kind of matte. So if it's shiny, it means it's kind of like glass or a mirror or something that reflects a lot of light. So snakes and, different kinds of animals like fish might be shiny. So an example sentence for this could be, do you like this shiny lip color? It will make your lips look bright and wet. I know a lot of lipsticks are very shiny looking.
And of course, this snake is harmless. Kat mentioned this earlier when we looked at fearless. Something that is harmless will not hurt you, or it should generally not hurt you. It is not dangerous. So in the case of snakes, it's not venomous. If it bites you, you won't get sick.
Right. So yeah, that's our third snake. It is harmless, unlike the first two. And the fourth one we have is the many-banded crate.
And this is definitely in the venomous category. We say, stay away from this black and white snake.
Uh-oh. So yeah, it means it must be dangerous. It's active at night it's active at night, so it's harder to spot. Oh, so even though it's got that black and white color, which might be kind of easy to see, it's active at night, so you won't be able to see it. That sounds pretty, sounds pretty dangerous. Now, if it's being active, that means it's doing things that require physical moving and energy. So in other words, it's kind of the opposite of sleeping or resting. If you are active, like we are right now, you're awake, you're doing stuff, you're using your brain and your body. That means you are active. So an example sentence might be, Gene is most active in the evenings. So that's when he gets most of his work done.
So this snake comes out at night. That's when it gets food and stuff. And you can imagine that with all the darkness, except for bits of moonlight and stuff, a black and white thing isn't easy to see. It's difficult to spot. To spot something means to see something, especially either when you're trying to find it or this thing is not easy to see. It takes a bit of extra attention and care if you want to see it, or in this case, spot it. For example, I only spotted the mistake in my homework after reading it through for the second time. So it's not easy to find this mistake. It's not a big mistake, it's a small one. So I had to read through this piece of writing twice, and then you go, there, that's it. That's the mistake I made. I better change that.
Yeah, so we learned that, it's active at night. It's hard to see. What's worse, people often don't feel its bite. how could you not feel a snake bite?
It's
it must
quite
have some
shallow, I think.
Yeah, or it must have some kind of numbing toxin or something. But yeah, this is a worse fact. It says, what's worse? That's a phrase that means we just said bad thing number one. It's hard to see. Now here's bad thing number two. You can't feel its bite. It's even worse. It's adding bad on top of bad.
And of course, this means people who are bitten but don't get treatment often die. So unlike the habu or the pit viper, they might get bitten by this crate and they don't realize it. They have no idea they've been bitten until they suddenly feel very sick. So it's got very strong venom, but because you don't realize you've been bitten until it's too late, that's why it can be a very dangerous snake. People often die if they don't get treatment.
Yeah, so it must have kind of a special kind of venom that doesn't let you feel it, but you can still be killed by it. That's pretty scary, I have to say.
Yep. Yeah, definitely watch out for this one.
Yeah,
but that
for sure.
is all we have time for today. So you've learned about these 4 snakes. What do you think about them? And check out our activity page for this article as well and meet 1 or 2 more. But for us, we're going to go to today's For You chat question.
Okay.
For You chat.
All right, our For You chat question today. What other animals are you scared of and why?
I mean, there's scared of and scared of. If I was a big wolf or a lion in front of me, I'd be scared of it. But the idea of a wolf or a lion doesn't bother me. However, spiders, don't like spiders at all. I am bothered by them a great deal, as you will know if you've listened to day one or have seen many other animal-related articles with me in.
Yeah, exactly.
How about you?
If you're talking scared of like that, cockroaches. I hate them. I hate them. And they're everywhere here. In fact, they replaced spiders for me in the animals that I'm scared of category.
Okay. Yeah, I don't. I got a lot of spiders in England, almost none that I see in Taiwan. Cockroaches, none in England, but loads here. So yes, I understand the kind of
same in the
swap
US.
over.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's all we've got for today. What about you guys? What are you scared of? And what are you scared of even though you don't really need to be scared of it? Good thing to discuss. But that's us. That's it for us. For English For You, I'm Pat.
Watch out for those danger noodles. I'm Kat. Bye-bye.
Talk to you soon. Bye.
Vocabulary Review.
Extremely. I really want to be a doctor, but getting into medical school is extremely difficult. Handle. Coins can get very dirty, so it's good to wash your hands after you handle them. Warn. It is very important to warn people about the dangers of drinking and driving. Shiny. After a good wash, the car looks clean and shiny. Active. Kangaroos are most active when the sun comes up and around the time it goes down. Spot. I was walking in the woods yesterday and I spotted a deer. It was so cute.
智慧小补帖
Venomous. Aggressive. Reptile.
以上节目是由活用空中美语制作，活用空中美语杂志，请洽询全国各大书店。如欲索取试听教材，请来电02-2364-4000 02-2364-4000，或上网查询，网址是 www.english4u.net www.english4u.net